Chico, we out here, man. 14 weeks left, guys. Welcome to the update. Currently, as you may know, I am trying to cut weight. I'm aiming for around 160, maybe going towards 150, and I've got 14 weeks left. By that, I need to lose at least 1.5 pounds, if not more, a week, which honestly isn't going to be that bad. Then I'm going to slowly introduce calories, eventually bulking on 250 or 300. And that way I can try and get some gains. My right arm's like shit in comparison now. I'll be following intermittent fasting to try and stay as lean as I possibly can, but if I do put on a bit too much fat, then I'm going to do a quick mini cut for maybe 12 weeks or so, about 8 months in, if I am too much on that fluffy side. Firstly, the fat loss. I have lost 5.5 pounds so far in the 2 weeks that I've been going. You can see here on the screen, I've put up a little chart which you'll be able to see the little graph. Just broke that 13 stone mark, which is fantastic. 12 stone this morning as well, and this is Sunday now. 12 stone, 13 and a half. Happy days, happy days. I just need to lose the extra 13 and a half. We're looking a bit more like, we're looking lean, man. And I cannot wait, guys, I cannot wait. I've lost about 2 or 3 inches off of my waist so far. You can see here, I'm just like pulling out my trousers, they just don't fit me anymore. And to make the matter worse, my belt no longer fits me, so I can't tighten it enough unless I stab another hole in, which I'm gonna have to bloody do, or just buy some new clothes. One thing I have started to notice though is I am definitely filling out a lot more. T-shirts are fitting a lot more snug around the chest, around the arms and what have you, especially on the back. It feels great, but I'm also losing weight and loading on creatine, so I'm putting more water in my body, losing fat, gaining muscle, only because I've had that time off that I can do this really, because gaining muscle and losing fat is stupidly hard, if not impossible, if you've been lifting for quite a few years. On screen right now you can see some poses that I've been doing that I took yesterday at the 14-week out mark. As you can tell, my biceps are coming in a lot leaner, my lats are flaring, and that is just down to those back days, man. Going ham on those deadlifts, going ham on those pull-ups, trying to get that wide back feel, you know? My body fat percentage at the moment is around 13 to 15%. I did it with the caliper method, I did it a few times and it came up 13, but I think I might be just a couple more just in case. The reason for the body fat percentage is so that in the future when I look back I can see how lean I actually was and then see where I've actually put on that extra muscle. So if I'm 10 or 15 pounds heavier but at the same body fat, I've obviously just put on muscle and I've retained it after I've cut again. So now we're through with the weight loss part. We're going to go over the pre-accident training and the post-accident training. Pretty much at the beginning of this year I was trying to focus on bulking, but because I kept seeing myself get fatter and then not see a lot of strength gains, you know, I kept going low calories, I kept fasting, and then obviously I'm just cutting, but then I'm just going high on some days and then pretty much just punishing myself later on. Eventually I went into a cut again towards where the accident happened. Pretty much from my time off work I was sat around home just doing nothing really, watching TV, watching some stuff on my computer, mainly eating shit food, takeaways, ice cream, as I've said before. They were the two big things, because I wasn't doing my meal prep, I wasn't exercising, so I wasn't training or anything, I couldn't go running, so obviously wearing a pot, you can't risk it. But because of all these factors, I was just sat here and I let myself slip. I let myself slip and it was my fault. So I actually stayed roughly the same weight, but because I was losing muscle and then gaining fat, it looked like I was staying the same weight. Well, I was, but obviously I was diminishing in other areas. As a side note, guys, I'm going to try and keep the video a bit short because I imagine it's running on quite a bit already. So I'm only going to be focusing on the compound lifts such as squat, bench press, overhead press and deadlift, instead of going into the machine work and all the other little extras that I do too. So, training. For legs I was squatting about 100 kilograms, but for reps and sets I was mainly doing about 70 to 80. I prefer to do compound movements such as the ones that I've listed above. I do them for about half an hour of the session. Infamous chest day, usually picked as a staple for lifters around the world really. For myself I was trying to push 70 just before the accident, but I was repping 65, which I'd only just moved to from being stuck at 60 for so long, and then to be fair, not really trying to move to 65 because I hit that plateau for that long. I didn't think I could do it. Of course I do follow progressive overload, so that's doing more sets and then more reps and then eventually upping that weight, bringing those sets and reps back and then eventually dialing myself back up. One thing I will say is I love doing press-ups whenever I'm training chest. You get a really good pump if you do some like close ones and then you mix them up with some wide grips, but obviously with my wrist at the moment I can't properly press down without it actually hurting. We've got back day now. Back day is my absolute favourite. I am actually obsessed with doing as many pull-ups as I can. Kind of stems back from when I was in the army and I was fascinated with doing as many pull-ups as I could. To be fair, back then I couldn't really do any, but the test was underarm pull-ups, which are in hindsight a lot easier than doing wide grip pull-ups. And I started on doing about 1 rep on this machine that would take some weight off. And then eventually I was doing 5 reps, and then I was doing sets of 5 reps until eventually I went on the free bar and I could just bang them out. And I just thought one day, I was like, I'll try it, why not? And I could do that. I was just like, oh my god, this is great. Big smile on my face the entire time. I predominantly focused on deadlifts, pull-ups and T-bar rows on the back day. With deadlifts I was shifting about 140 prior to the accident. I'd use straps sometimes, but I could do it with quite good form, to be fair, and I can't wait to get back to where I once was. Now moving on to shoulders, I wasn't actually that keen on training shoulders as a muscle group. I think to be fair, it was just because I was lagging behind so much on them. So usually I'd end up doing quite a lot of volume and then just burning out completely on them, just trying to get that growth in there. I mean, to be fair, my overhead press was about 50 kilograms before, but I was actually trying to shoot for 8 reps instead of doing 5, whereas going forward I'll be doing 5 reps and trying to work my way back up to where I was. I'm kind of pissed off though because I can't carry the weight on my wrist or anything. It does actually affect my bench press too, so until that's fully healed I won't be setting any records anytime soon, let me tell you. Finally, we move on to arms. Arm day, man. Chest and arms and chest. I mean, you've got to have those guns hugging the sleeves, man, you know? For hitting biceps and triceps, there is a multitude of exercises that I do, going from barbell curls, going to dumbbell curls, tricep extensions, you know, using cables, anything to just target those areas. One of my favourite though being dips. The same thing with the pull-ups where I couldn't do them on my own body weight at the time because I was just getting into training properly. I would knock off quite a few kilos and eventually I worked my way up until I was just doing them without any kind of assistance, and then I was doing sets of 8, then 10, then 12 until eventually I was thinking about putting weight on and all this fucking happened. So that was pre-accident training. There were the stats before all this shit happened. And let's not forget that was about 4 months since as well, because I was off work for 2 and then I couldn't train for about another month or so until I could eventually get my pot off, and oh, what a day. So now let's take a look at how I compare to where I was previously to where I am now, having been in the gym for a good solid 2 or 3 weeks. Starting from the top, we'll go back into legs, back into the squat. When I first came back, I was only doing about 40 kilos on the bar, so that's like the bar and plus 2 10s. I knew I had to take it quite light, and especially when I was putting my wrist back, my right hand, no, it was saying no. In fact, it was screaming no. Squatting easy at first and slowly ease myself back to where I can be. Hey, looking back now though, I'm already on 65 kilos and I'm sure I'll be smashing 75 and then soon 80 anytime soon now. As for chest, it was quite a choke point, to be fair, for the pain in my wrist, because the second I even had just the bar, just 20 on there, my arm was just, it was screaming no. I just couldn't hack it. I've already added 15s on the side, so we're already up to 50 kilos, which is doing pretty nicely. I'm almost back to that 65, just 15 to go. It can't take that long, and then eventually I'm hoping to get towards my goals that I'm going to go over pretty soon. The dumbbell press is coming in quite quickly also. I was doing about 20s before, but I'm only on about 16 to 18 now, because again, this recurring theme of this little bugger over here, going back onto my favourite, of course, back. I finally started doing weight-free pull-ups again, so without using that machine assistance. I do try and burn out doing the normal pull-ups first, and then I'll go onto the machine and try and overload that volume a bit more. And in fairness, like I said, I used to do 140 kilos on my deadlift, but now I'm only doing about 70 to 80, so I'm just about half of what I used to be. I am definitely going to be focusing on my back again, so I'm going to be doing hella amounts of deadlifts and hella amounts of pull-ups. Onto shoulders, and I do actually understand the reasoning for not liking doing shoulder exercises, because I was weak as shit behind all of them. I couldn't do them properly, so I know my shoulders are lagging behind, so alongside with back, I'm going to try and focus more on shoulder exercises. Maybe go to the gym on Saturdays and start working out shoulders just as a 2 times a week kind of thing, bringing them back up there with the rest of them. In fairness though, I did rep out a few 50 kilos, and I'm pretty impressed considering the wrist is still in pain, but I'm still managing week by week to increase that of volume, and it's just great. Coming in last are arms. Friday is arm day. It's a good day to finish on. Sadly though, it is the one most affected, as you can imagine, by the recurring theme over here, because if I'm doing a barbell curl, I have to lock out a bit of my wrist, and it's that pain whenever I'm trying to lift a weight where I can't lift the weight, but then my left arm, it doesn't even matter, perfectly fine. I'll get there, you know, I will get there. It will take some time, it will take a few weeks, maybe a few months, but in the end, I'll be there, and hopefully you'll be here. Pain-wise, of course, I can push and pull more. I have tried dips without trying to take any weight off. It hurt like a bitch, but at the same time, I knew I could do it, but it was at that level where it was more so, don't do it because you're probably gonna injure yourself more. So I took a bit of weight off. It was like 18 kilos or something, on 9 at one point, and I was just repping them out, and it felt good, but not as strong as I should be. I can now smash out a fair few underarm pull-ups though. I do, of course, the overarm on back days, and then underarm on arm days to try and focus that bicep. And then of course I'll again shift onto the machine when I burn out, and I'll try and really work that muscle. And I'm also curling 25s again. Eventually, man, I want to be curling a 50 kilo, man. But to be fair, it does say a lot about the recovery, because week by week, like I've said, I am seeing it get better, and it has been coming through on the weights that you've been able to see going all over the screen. So to kind of wrap up what I've been trying to get across is, as you can see from the stats, my strength has increased exponentially compared to when I first came back, but compared to what I was pre-training, there's a few things getting quite close and a few things that are over, but the main compound lifts are of course lagging behind. So I think in a few months, at least in about a month or two, I want to be at that pre-training level. In terms of goals, as you know from the beginning of the video, I am shooting for 160 pounds in the 14 weeks, if not lower, towards that 150 end. In terms of compound lifts though, I want to be able to squat 150 kilos, I want to be able to deadlift 200, I want to be able to bench 100, and then I want to be able to overhead press like 80. For me, I feel those goals are quite high goals, to be fair, and I know I'm on a cut and I can't expect to get any big PRs, but going towards when I'm bulking, I hope to be able to achieve them. Besides that, I want to be doing rock climbing when my wrist is healed. That was the last time I mentioned it. I want to be able to do a fighting style with a friend, whether it's jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai. We're both kind of unsure, to be fair, but I'll hopefully be doing them, and that'll be some sick content, so make sure you stick around for that. That's going to be it for the updates though, guys. I will be doing a weekly video, not of this in-depth detail. Obviously it's going to be a lot shorter compared to what this one was, because I was comparing pre-training and post-training, and then a few weeks later training. But in the videos I'll be giving you a quick update and rundown on where my strength's going, how my physique's going, how I'm kind of feeling, and anything that might be on my mind. And of course I will be doing some videos on the side, so make sure you stick around for them. For now though, thank you so much for making it this far. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new and you want to stick around, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. For now, I have been Mark from GW Fitness. Peace. Shit, go out here, man.